Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's live. Today we're going to be talking about retroactive research and development deduction. I have a few clients that are always looking at developing and expanding how they make money. And so a few of them are working with chemists to create their own product line. So that's the most, I would say, the most. Typical of what I'm going to be explaining today with this retro research and development. But the one big beautiful bill that was signed into law July of 2025 mentioned this research and development deduction and how it can be retroactively claimed to take 100% of your research and development expenses. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And so if you are joining live, welcome. Drop a comment in the chat. Let us know where you are tuning in from. We have Tara in the chat, and she will be answering any questions that you may have that I can't get to. She is our enrolled agent here at Hair CEO and very knowledgeable and will keep you from being in IRS hot water with her specialty is resolving tax issues, but hopefully making sure that you don't get to the point where you have to resolve any issues. All right, so my name is Jennifer Drew. I am the founder and CEO of Hair CEO, and we are an advisory, bookkeeping, and tax firm specializing in helping self-employed hair professionals and beauty business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And so in this series, we are just breaking down different tax topics for 2026 filing season. And so this is day 44 of 90. And so if this is your first time catching a replay, drop hashtag replay. Let me know that you saw it and leave any questions that you may have with this subject, especially if you are in, creating things like your own product line or maybe some IT. All right. So let me go back in time a little bit. I like to give you some context. So prior to the One Big Beautiful Bill, for the past few years, the tax code has said that anytime you have spent over $20,000 in research and development, that you had to spread that cost over 5 years. So you couldn't take $20,000 off of your tax return in the year that you spent it. You had to, again, make sure that you spread it over 5 years. So that's what folks have been doing for the past couple of years. And, that doesn't make people happy. I mean, think about it. If you've spent, let's say you've spent $50,000 working on developing this new product line. And you working with us at Hair CEO, we're gonna make sure you're compliant, make sure that you're eligible for all of your tax deductions, all of your credits. But I would have had to break down to you and explain that, yeah, I know you spent a lot of money this year in, developing your product line. I know that, but unfortunately, we can only take, $10,000 of your 50,000 this year. You'd be like kind of pissed, right? Like, well, wait a minute, Jennifer, like that's gonna mess up my cash flow. I was trying to get some money back or whatever. Because that's gonna increase how much money you made if you can't deduct all of what you spent in that research and development. So you would not be too happy. Although I will be telling you the truth and keeping you out of, trouble with the IRS, it still would not make you happy. So that is how it's been for the past few years with research and development. They capped you at, spreading it across 5 years. Now, fast forward to July 4th, 2025, there is a section in the One Big Beautiful Bill, section 174A, if you want to go check it out. I love this stuff, but I don't know if you want to go check that out. But basically, section 174A says that if you have spent over $20,000 or more in research and development, up to a certain amount, but for us, the hair industry, I mean, I don't think you're spending 31 million, I think is the top limit. But so I'm just going to say if you're spending more than 20,000 on research and development, that you could take this deduction immediately. meaning you don't have to spread it over 5 years. So if you spent $50,000 on research and development for your product line, as an example, then you can take the full 50,000 in this filing season that we're in right now, 2026 filing season. You don't have to spread, you don't have to, chop it up and spread it over 5 years. Now, another thing that this section 174 says is that you can take a retroactive deduction. And you have like these do over years where you can amend your tax returns from 2022 through 2024 in the event that you paid more than $20,000, or you amortized your expenses over 5 years. The government, the IRS, all the same, right? They're saying that you can actually amend that tax return. And so in my example, if you only took $10,000 for your development of your product line and it was 50,000, then you can go back to that tax return, amend it, and instead of it being 10,000, it'll say 50,000 for that year. And that's going to change things so much. And so you may be looking at a refund if you claim an additional $40,000 in expenses for these prior years, or maybe like one of the prior years. This is huge. So, I hope I'm explaining this in a way that makes sense. But yes, if you spent, more than $20,000 on research of anything to bring something to the market, then you want to talk to your tax professional. I know we're doing an audit of all of our clients, not right now, not during this filing season, because it's a little busy right now. But once this filing season is over, of course, we're going to take this deduction immediately for the 2026 filing season. But for all of our clients who are working with us, we're going to review the tax returns that we filed in 2022 through 2024 and reach out to any of those hairstylists, those salon owners, barbershop owners who have been spending a lot of money on research and development. And we had to split their expense. We had to capitalize their expense over multiple years, so we can amend those taxes and take it for the year where they spent the money. So this is really big. I'm excited about this. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, what's the catch? Like, do I qualify? Give me some examples. And I am going to give you some examples because you have to be careful with this. This is not something where you have to, you call it research and development. It really has to be research and development because you don't want to get called out for an audit and then they, figure out that what you wrote off is not research and development at all. So it has to be innovation. It cannot be education. And this is the thing that I think would, trip up a lot of folks in this industry, because what you may consider research and development, like, oh, I'm going to take this extension course and find out, how to, do this new braid down method that I heard about. Or I'm going to go to China and, look at how they manufacture the hair over there. No, that is not considered research and development for this specific deduction or credit. So you have to make sure that you are working with a qualified licensed tax professional to make sure that you're taking this deduction correctly and talking to your tax professional about what you've spent your money on, what you've done, and see if it qualifies as a research and development credit or deduction that you can take. So that's what you want to make sure of. You don't want to jump to conclusions, because I've seen it happen all the time where, we get clients that have come to us after working with other tax professionals or bookkeeping companies, and, they'll have a category on their profit and loss statement and it'll say research and development. And I'll ask questions like, oh, okay, tell me about this research and development, these expenses in here. And they'll say something like, oh, well, I took a balayage class, or I took, a coloring seminar, or, I learned this new method, or I took this course. No, that's better categorized under education, not innovation, not research and development. So you see how all of this stuff is connected. You got to make sure that you're working with a really good bookkeeper. You got to make sure you're working with a good accountant, because they're going to ask those important questions to make sure that you stay out of trouble, but also that you can take the deductions that you are qualified for. So that's my soapbox. Let me give you some examples of what innovation looks like. So I'm going to go over 3 different examples. So the first one is a chemist. So I have some clients who are working with chemists. I love that. They're working with chemists and they're trying out different ingredients. They're, sourcing ingredients from other countries, and they're trying it out and they're seeing how it responds to their hair or their client's hair. And they are actively innovating for a new shampoo, conditioner, mousse, gel, whatever it is, plant-based. I mean, all types of stuff, that I see my clients doing. They're doing some very exciting things. And so if that's you and you're working with a chemist, then those expenses very likely will qualify as research and development. Now, do not take what I just said and say, oh, well, Jennifer said it's research and development because I talked to a chemist. No, 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 no. I am not your tax professional if you're not a client of mine. But if you are just watching this is just for educational purposes. This is not supposed to substitute talking to a professional and making sure that you are applying these things correctly. Now, I will give you the opportunity to work with me and my team, but you don't want to just take what I'm saying and run off and say, oh, yeah, I'm doing research and development because I talked to a chemist yesterday. No, 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 no. All right, let's go to the second example. So let's say you are working with an engineer. One of my clients is actually working with an engineer to figure out how to come up with, she has an idea for a new type of comb. And so she's working with an engineer to, do prototypes and, sending stuff overseas for packaging and all types of stuff. She's doing some great stuff. Don't quote me on everything, but I know she's working with at least 3 engineers. So that is considered research and development. Are you creating a new tool, or some clippers, some shears, a new dryer, comb, brush, whatever it is? If you're working with an engineer or something of the sort, then that's another example of what could be considered research and development. And then let's say you're working with a developer. Let's say you are trying to create the next booking app that's going to solve all of the issues that you currently have with your booking app. You've tried, Vagaro, you've tried the Booksy app, Style Seat. You've tried all of these apps and you're just like, you know what, Jennifer, all of them are missing something that I don't have, and I know other people need it. And so I'm working with a developer so that we can actually develop this idea that I have and bring it to the market. Then that might be considered research and development. So those are just 3 examples of what could be considered research and development for you to take this retroactive credit or the credit in 2026 for 2025 taxes. So those are just some examples. Now, again, if you fall into this category, you just want to talk it through, or you think you might be eligible for maybe a prior year kind of do-over, or you think that you have some expenses that qualify for this filing season, then I want to invite you to click the link in my description for this video, and you will be able to secure a spot to reserve working with us for the 2026 filing season. Now, we're only working with a limited number of clients this season, so you want to make sure that you book that call we'll book it, and then you'll be redirected to schedule a call, a one-on-one call with me or someone from my team to talk about exactly what needs to be filed for you. And so, yeah, so that's there. And today is Friday. So if you're watching this live, I hope you have a great weekend, and you will likely be in the salon or barbershop tomorrow. And, wishing you a very busy and productive Saturday inside the salon. But yeah, I will still be here tomorrow, Lord willing, and I will see you for day 45. All right. See you tomorrow.